Hey guys, so welcome to the channel if you haven't been here before, and if you're returning, thanks for watching again. So as many of you know, and if you don't know, I've been living in Myanmar for the last 3 months. So I moved here in June, late May, June, for work, and so I've moved here and begun working along with my partner. So now, after living in 3 months in Myanmar, I kind of want to share what I've learned in Myanmar and how I feel, and more the things that I think you learn about a country from really living in it. So everything that I've really learned is from, one, my job, two, interacting with people, locals and expats, and three, just from everyday living myself and really experiencing these things. Myanmar's a really great country. It's really taken me by surprise. I didn't really know too much about Myanmar prior. I'd only been here briefly on holiday. But it is a truly amazing country, and I do recommend everyone to come here once in their lives because it's very underrated, and people don't know enough about Myanmar. So just quickly, welcome to geography class. I'm just going to give you a little background. So Myanmar is located in Southeast Asia. So it borders Bangladesh, India, China, Laos, and Thailand. So it is very diverse for this reason, because the borders have different states. So each state kind of has a very different ethnic culture and history. Myanmar is very rich in history. It has a very, very long and interesting history that really kind of contributes to everything that it is now. So there are 55 million, just under 55 million people in Myanmar, which is amazing that there are so many people in this country. I think people don't even realize that there's that many people in this country. In Yangon, which is it's not the capital, because the capital is Naypyidaw, which is like more of the economic capital. But Yangon is like the economic, I don't know, it's just the old capital. Anyway, it has 5 million people. The Myanmar is like broken up into a lot of different states, and the states really vary and have very different like religious influences based on their history. Like Chin State and Kachin State are quite Christian, and then you'll have some other states that are maybe have a bit more Muslim background or Buddhist. But the main religion that kind of runs throughout the whole of the country is Buddhism. So that's a little background on Myanmar. So I'll talk about the first thing that I have learned. So the first thing that I've learned is about monsoon season. So I actually arrived in Myanmar at the very start of monsoon season, perfect timing. So monsoon season runs from the start of June till pretty much the end of October. So 5 months of rain. So the rain is pretty much like, it'll rain every day, just at some point, but not always like throughout the whole day. It might be like 1 or 2 hours. But I would say this rainy season, from speaking with people, they say it's been quite a wet rainy season. It's rained pretty much every afternoon. Like, I feel like it's clockwork. At like 2 o'clock every day, it's just like rains. And then some days it's been like rain non-stop for maybe 3 days. But something that I've really noticed is amazing is that, you know, people are so used to the rain and life just continues, and it's made me have to be really adaptable to the rain. I feel like, one, I always carried an umbrella, and two, I don't get that affected by the rain. It doesn't really kill my plans. You just carry on with your day, and that's a good thing. I think it's really taught me to be a bit more resilient with the weather conditions, so it's good. The second thing I learned, which I thought was really interesting, is all about the power outages. So the power outages were really bad this year in June, like end of May, June, just before rainy season started. The power outage was like 6 times a day. And when I say power outage, I mean like complete blackout. Everything turns off, and then it'll come back on depending on whether you have a backup generator or you don't. So a backup generator, a lot of maybe like hotels, offices, like certain apartment blocks will have a backup generator. So it would mean that your power will come back on in about like 30 seconds, if not sooner than that. And then if you don't have a backup generator, it might take you like a day, even sometimes. It depends really how bad the situation is. It can take you a few hours, maybe 10 minutes, 30 minutes, it just varies. But a lot of places now have backup generators, so you're usually okay. But the power outages were just something that was just so different for me. But something that you just have to get used to really quickly, because it's everyone around you is just like so unaffected by it. It's kind of like the rain. It's just like, oh yeah, power went out, continue on, it'll come back in like 30 seconds. So I think that's amazing. It just, I think for me, it teaches me a lot of patience, and just to become more adaptable with like certain things in life like that. The power outages stem from two kind of main reasons. So a lot of the power in Myanmar is run by hydropower, so it means from dams they use the water to generate power. So the summer season here was really dry and there wasn't like any rain, which meant that a lot of the dams got really dried out, therefore there wasn't as much water to generate the power for the towards the end of the summer season. So that was one of the reasons why there was a lot of power outages, and the second one being not enough government funding into projects, which is kind of like a whole different political issue that I won't delve into. My favourite thing I've realised is that people in Myanmar are amazing. They're just such genuine people. They're just very gentle, always willing to help, have really good hearts, and I would just say are very, very warm people. I think Myanmar, like settling into a new country is never easy, but I think it helps when you have really amazing people and amazing culture. And I think that people in Myanmar have just been absolutely lovely, and that stems from just locals to expats. And I just think it rings true. It just reflects so much upon the country's culture that people are so nice. And it makes you be a better person. I think coming from Hong Kong, you know, and living in a city that was very hustle bustle and each their own, a bit survival mode, you forget how to, you know, be kind to another person. And I think it's been really awesome being in Myanmar, because, you know, you just get back to basics and being just a nice person because you are a nice person, or because it's the right thing to do. So it's good. The fifth thing that I have learnt from being in Myanmar is about the food. So when I first came to Myanmar, the food was not that great. I didn't get that impressed by it, but it's really here, I think, home cooked food. Like the food that I try from my colleagues at work is amazing, and if you have to go to the right tea shops, the food would be really good. So you have to just kind of scope out the food here. Popular dishes are the tea leaf salad. Tea leaf salad is just like tea leaves, and they've got like all these little beans in them that are dried, which is really, really nice. It's probably my favourite thing to eat for lunch. They also have nanjito, which is a breakfast noodle. I really like this. It's like kind of got like egg yolk, and it's a dry noodle. It comes with a soup. It's divine. I really like it. And what else do they have? They have mahinga, which is like a fish noodle soup kind of curry thing. Can't say it's like my favorite, but I think it's quite good as well. But yeah, they have a lot of really good food in Myanmar. But one thing that I have learned here is that rice is the absolute staple to every Myanmar person's diet. So for lunch, the girls will eat like a whole thing of rice for lunch and breakfast and dinner. And I think it's just very interesting, because like I think in Australia we would have used to eat like a bigger portion of whatever, like maybe meat or whatever we are whatever like the signature dish is, I guess, that we're eating, and then rice would be like a side, whereas like rice is the main dish here, and they'll have like little sides. But it's awesome. I think it's a really good way of eating, and the food that they eat is really tasty. So the sixth and final thing I've learned is don't play chicken with cars here. Cars are quite aggressive. I think like in a lot of Southeast Asian countries, like in Vietnam, if there are a lot of cars but you walk, they'll generally stop for you. Whereas here, I feel like that if you walk, they'll just be like, I'm gonna come at you, and you're not gonna have right of way. So pedestrians don't have right of way here. Be mindful of that if you ever come to Myanmar. Don't try and play chicken with the car. Just make sure there's enough time for you to get across the road, because they will be quite aggressive. But other than that, that's the main 6 things that I've learned so far that really stick with me. I obviously have learned a lot more about myself personally and also about the country, but in terms of big things, I think they're the biggest adjustments I had to make moving here. And and what I've learned in the last 3 months. I can't wait to see what else I learn over the next year or two, or however long I stay here. But Myanmar has been really awesome, and just moving to a new country that's just so unfamiliar, that I'm so unfamiliar with, has been incredible and taught me so much about myself and the world. So I hope you guys really enjoyed the video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. I will catch you in the next video. Bye!